Sniping in Warzone is notoriously difficult. In fact, it's so difficult that most players don't even attempt it. However, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can not only become a much more confident sniper, but even get to the level of professional players with just a few minor adjustments to your gameplay. Before we begin, you need to decide what kind of sniping playstyle you have. A lot of people don't realize this, but your personal playstyle is going to determine a lot of different aspects of how you should snipe. In most cases, you'll either be an aggressive sniper or a passive sniper. To explain further, an aggressive sniper would likely set up their weapon to aim down sights faster to achieve either a critical hit on the enemy or even a quick elimination. However, a passive sniper would be much more focused on making sure that the shots they take matter, even if those shots take longer to set up. So you have to decide. If you see yourself as an aggressive sniper, you should focus most of your efforts on learning movement and initial aiming strategies. On the other side, if you see yourself as the latter, you should focus most of your efforts on learning positioning and how to lead your shots. However, as someone who has always been their team's dedicated sniper, I believe the best option for any player is to learn how they can be both. This is the only way that you can guarantee sniping will become an effective way to get more wins in Warzone. It's also going to give you the chance to adapt to any team you find yourself in. Additionally, both playstyles will benefit from learning the best settings and loadouts for sniping that I'll be showing you later in the video. With all that in mind, let's direct our attention to the aggressive sniper's first section, movement. Pairing movement with sniping can be a difficult endeavor, but my goal is to break it down into 3 easy to comprehend tips. Tip number 1, bunny hops. Bunny hopping is performed by running in a direction, jumping, turning midair, aiming down sights on your target, and as landing, jumping again. This is going to be very useful when you're pushing someone in a more close range environment with a sniper rifle. Let's say your enemy is around the corner. You can bunny hop, and as you're bouncing around the corner, you'll have your sights aimed down on your enemy with a high-powered rifle, and by the time they have a chance to react, they'll have already been shot or even eliminated. Tip number 2, jump shots. Jump shots are much easier than bunny hops and are performed by simply putting yourself in a situation where your enemy can't see you, but you can see them if you jump. All you want to do is line up your shot to where they will be, jump, and shoot. While you likely won't be getting a ton of eliminations with this technique, it can give you at least a hit on the enemy, either forcing them into cover so you can position yourself better, or if playing with a team, gives your teammates a chance to take some shots with their assault rifle to finish the kill. Tip number 3. Vehicle exits. Vehicle exits tend to be a natural thing for anyone trying to traverse the map quickly, but you can actually use the exit animation and positioning to your advantage. When you jump out of your vehicle, you'll probably notice as long as something isn't in the way, you'll always jump out on the same side of the vehicle that you were seated in. With this, as well as the knowledge that you don't take any damage from jumping out of vehicles at high speeds, you can easily pre-aim at the enemy's position, jump out of the vehicle, and begin shooting before your enemy ever knows what hit them. I highly recommend that you practice these 3 techniques in a private match or plunder before attempting to implement them into any full-blown battle royale matches. If you mess up while doing any of these, it could put you in a bad situation and actually be your demise rather than giving you an advantage. Moving past movement, pun intended, we find ourselves at aggressive aiming. Like the previous section, this will be comprised of 3 simple topics. Topic number 1. Centering. Centering is performed by putting the small white dot in the center of your screen on where you'd like to shoot before you ever aim down your sights. Most professional players recommend you keep your sights directly parallel to the ground. This will often put your dot around the top of an enemy's chest or right at the neck. However, you can implement this in different ways with sniping that are very beneficial. When you pair this with your movement, you can actually pre-aim at where the enemy is going to be and focus on trying to get that dot on the enemy's head. Then, when you aim down sights, you'll already be prepared to pull the trigger for a very quick elimination. Speaking of quick tasks, let's talk about topic number 2, quick scopes. Quick scoping is the act of aiming down your sights just enough to where you can see your crosshair on your scope, and before you can even fully hold your breath, you take the shot. This is going to require a lot of control and isn't going to be for anyone that isn't familiar with sniping. Honestly, it took even me about 2 years to understand how to properly do it in Warzone. Additionally, the harsh reality of the new Vanguard snipers being implemented is that quickscoping is a bit broken on them and they don't always center correctly on your screen. After pairing both centering and quickscoping together, we find ourselves at topic number 3, flicking and drag scoping. Honestly, most of the shots I take in Warzone these days will be one of these two. Flicking is where you tried to center your shot, but you were just a bit off, so you flick your aim towards the player's head in an attempt to down them. And drag scoping is basically the same thing, but it's just a bit slower to allow you to be slightly more precise. Remember, no one is perfect when it comes to Warzone, but practicing both of these techniques is guaranteed to raise your elimination ratio immensely. Now, for those of you that are passive, as I said before, you're going to want to put a huge focus on positioning. When it comes to positioning, in every single case, whether it be sniping or not, it's good to remember that keeping your cover and high ground will always be the easiest way to secure an elimination and even a win. But the one tip I have for sniping is to head glitch. Head glitching is a mechanic that's been built into every Call of Duty since day one, and Warzone is no exception. It happens because the bullets you fire actually come from your character's head rather than their chest. Due to this, you can put yourself in positions where instead of showing your whole body, you only show your head. Then you'll be able to shoot at your enemy, but they can only see a tiny part of your body for their attempted retaliations. Anywhere there's cover, there's likely a head glitch, especially when you're higher in elevation than your enemy. So be aware of this mechanic and use every bit of cover you can to your advantage as you traverse Caldera. Now let's discuss the passive sniper's other most important attribute, aiming. Aiming as a passive sniper is often going to be much easier than it would be for an aggressive sniper. Reason being, you'll likely have much more time to line up your shots, which will, in most cases, ensure you get the elimination. However, my first tip is to not overthink it. Oftentimes, players that aren't confident in their skills will wait too long to take the shot. A lot of sniping comes down to seizing the moment, and even though you may not be aggressive, being able to make a quick decision is going to help you in the long run. My second tip for aiming as a passive sniper is learning to lead your shots properly. While most of this is going to come down to the feel of each sniper rifle you use, there are some great tools to more efficiently learn the lead time of each sniper in Warzone. A great website I've used in the past is tvwarzone.com. It's completely filled with dozens of, as they call them, cheat sheets to learn the lead times of every single sniper rifle in the game. Not only does it allow you to see the lead time for running enemies, but also those in vehicles, including helicopters. Another tip, very similar to learning to lead your shots, is to properly understand bullet drop. When looking down the scope of your sniper rifle, pay attention to the horizontal line. In basic terms, after about 200 meters, it's best to start using those lines as a bullet drop guide for how high you should aim above your enemy to ensure a hit. These can also be found on the previously mentioned website. Now that we've concluded the playstyle specific tips, let's dive right into the best loadouts and settings for sniping. As for loadouts, most people know that the Vanguard rifles really don't compare to the Modern Warfare and Cold War rifles when they're used in Warzone. With that in mind, I'm going to cover the best loadout for every single sniper by showing an image of each loadout on screen for a short time, which you can pause or rewind to. However, my recommendation, if you have the option, is to use the Kar 98K from Modern Warfare or the Swiss K31 from Cold War. Either way, here are the best setups for the Vanguard snipers, starting with the Line 3 rifle, Kar 98K, and the Type 99. Moving on to Cold War, we have the Swiss K31, LW3 Tundra, Pellington 703, ZRG 20mm, and the M82. Finally, we make our way to Modern Warfare with the Kar 98K, SPR 208, HDR, AX50, Dragunov, and lastly, the Rytec AMR. Moving forward, let's discuss a couple of settings that can have a huge impact on sniping. Auto tac sprint. If this setting is turned on in any capacity, it can take longer to aim down sights. If you're going to be very aggressive with your sniping, you may want to turn this off to have full control over when you sprint. Controller settings. These will be mostly based on preference, but mine may be helpful for you, so feel free to give them a shot. Sensitivity. I prefer to leave my high zoom at its original placement of 1.0. This will allow me to be much more snappy when I don't have a whole mouse pad to quickly flick to an enemy. Aim response curve type. Mine personally stays on dynamic while sniping. As for keyboard and mouse settings, I set my sensitivity for low and high zoom to a 0.5. This will allow for much more accurate tracking and micro adjustments. If you enjoyed this video and you wouldn't be opposed, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. Additionally, if you want to see a video just like this and learn to instantly become a better player, make sure to click the video on screen now to do just that.